Hey guys, welcome back. This is Friend. This week we're going to be doing things a little bit differently. Today we're going to be going over some of the tweets that I sent out within the last couple of weeks. And I'm doing this because I believe it will help you. So this is how we're going to do it. I'm just going to pull up the tweet on the screen and I'm just going to read it and we're just going to talk about it. And if you already subscribed to the channel, I just want to say thank you. And if you're not, please subscribe so that you can continue to receive good financial information that will help you with your personal finances, with investing and debt repayment. And for daily tweets with the same kind of information, you can also follow me at my Twitter account, which is posted here. And the Twitter handle is the same as the YouTube channel. It's Invest for Finance as written down here. So let's get right to it. The first tweet is this. For many, money isn't the real issue. It's the lack of knowledge that's the problem. Financial illiteracy can wreck your finances. Take the time to learn about money and personal finance. If you don't, the amount of money you make will not matter. It'll all be gone. So what exactly do I mean by that? A lot of times we tend to make money more complicated than it has to be. Yes, there can be a lack of money. If you're working and you're not earning enough to cover your expenses, then that's a problem. But at the same time, we tend to overspend. We, a lot of times, spend money on things that do not really bring any value into our lives. And we're so used to doing it, it just becomes normal. If you do not take the time to learn about how money works, how money can help you instead of constantly being a source of frustration, then it's important that you learn about money. Anything as simple as saving money in a savings account as opposed to leaving money in your checking account. You need to know stuff about what is a Roth IRA, what is a 401k, what is a brokerage account. All of these are types of accounts that allow you to invest your money and grow it over time. And these types of accounts, if not all of them, some of them are available to virtually all of us with internet access. So if you needed to open a brokerage account, you can easily do so. The same thing regarding a Roth IRA. A 401k may be tied to an employer, and if your employer does not offer a 401k, you may not have access to that. So I recommend that you spend the time to learn about these accounts. You can start with this channel. On this channel, I have videos about Roth IRAs. I have videos where I discuss a 401k or a brokerage account, or even how to invest money in these accounts step by step. Until you learn about how to manage your money properly, how to control your spending, how to avoid spending money frivolously, unless you take your money seriously enough to learn about these, the amount of money that you make doesn't really matter because you will continuously have financial issues. The money will come in and it'll just go back out. The amount of money that you make per year may increase a little bit or it may increase by a lot, but you will continuously increase your expenses as your income increases, therefore leaving you with the same financial issues that you had when you were making $40,000, now that you're making $60,000 per year. So the problem really is about how to manage your money. Until you learn about how to manage your money properly, how to save, how to make sure that you have an emergency fund, how to invest consistently, you will very likely remain in the same financial situation that you're in now, even though it's not the ideal financial situation for you, where your finances are not at the point where you would want them to be. So the next tweet is the following. Follow this and you will basically always have money. Whenever you get paid, make it a habit to save, then invest a small percentage of your paycheck, no matter how small it is. $50 per paycheck even. Just get in the habit and never stop. Increase the amount with time. So what do I mean by that? In the past, I've mentioned that in prior videos. Even if you think it's insignificant, it's not enough, or that it's not worth investing, I guarantee you, you are wrong. Thinking that I only have $50 a month. What can that possibly do? Or I only have $100 every pay period. What could that possibly do? But if you think about it, let's say you get paid 26 times a year, which is basically every 2 weeks. 26 times $100 is $2,600. That's $2,600 that you will have invested at the end of year one. Now, if the money is invested, the money is actually growing on its own. So you're working, you're contributing to that account. And since the money is invested, the money will be earning money as well. So after a couple of years, 3 years, 4 years, you will be surprised how things have picked up. I can virtually guarantee you that it will be worth it. And once you get started with an amount, let's say it's $100 every 2 weeks, that may be all that you can contribute right now. However, as time goes by, if you get a raise, you can increase that amount slightly. If you get a promotion or change jobs and you have a higher salary, then you can increase it as time goes by. It'll just become normal to you. And the best way to do that is by automating it. Make sure that you take the decision making out of it. Let the computers do it. Let some kind of automated system do it so that you don't have to worry about it. So, however small you may think that amount is, make sure that you get started. This is the hardest part that prevents most people from even beginning. If you can get this done, then you're well ahead of most people. So the next tweet is the following. If you don't take full control over your own finances, thinking everything will, quote, work itself out, you will be one of those people trying to work part-time in retirement while living below the poverty line. As responsible adults, we must make those decisions or pay the consequences. So what exactly do I mean by taking control of your finances? It goes back to what we were just discussing. You have to take charge of your own finances. If something needs to be fixed, you have to fix it. If your salary needs to be increased, only you can make that decision to possibly change jobs or apply for a promotion. If you're overspending on stuff, you have to take control to cut back on spending. If you choose not to do any of those, thinking that everything will just be fine, you're basically settling for something that's mediocre, when in fact, if you had put in the effort, if you had put in the time, your overall financial situation would be in a much better place a year from today or 5 years from today. As responsible adults, we cannot expect anyone else to do it for you. If you are expecting your financial situation to change, but you're counting on other people, I guarantee you it will never happen. The government is supposed to be a safety net for the vulnerable. Your elected representatives are supposed to be doing what's in your best interest, but you already know how all of that goes. If you do not take charge of your own finances, it will never change for the better. You have to make the decisions to invest for retirement, invest consistently over time to make sure that you have a sizable amount saved up for retirement that can be used in conjunction with any pension that you might get from the government so that you can have somewhat of a comfortable retirement. Unless you take charge of your own finances, you will always be among those living paycheck to paycheck, always complaining about money and being subject to others' decisions in regards to your money and your financial situation. This is exactly the same as the last tweet. There are, of course, many circumstances that may cause us to be living paycheck to paycheck. It may be things that are completely beyond our control. It may be medical debt that we incurred from some kind of illness that we had. If it's not directly related to you, it may be to a close family member, a spouse, a partner, a child who had some kind of catastrophic illness. But the rest of it is really up to us. This is just my view. Credit cards, I don't think should be used unless you have the money to pay the balance in full. If you are adding charges to your credit card, knowing that you will not have the money to pay it off at the end of the month when the statement is made, you're basically shooting yourself in the foot. If you need some kind of vehicle to commute to and from work, and you go ahead and buy a vehicle and finance it for $800 a month, that is your doing. If you make an income just like the average American, it's unaffordable to have a car that expensive. There is no way you can possibly make financial progress as an average American paying $800 or $1,000 a month for a car. If you feel like you're overspending, only you can fix that. Of course, you have to pay for the basic necessities every month. And in addition to that, you're allowed to have some kind of leisure activities. You're entitled to actually live outside of just working. But there are certain things that you may be spending money on that you can definitely cut out and still be fine. Now, whatever the amount of money that you saved as a result could be put into a savings account and eventually put into an investing account once you have an emergency fund that you're comfortable with. Complaining regarding your finances never really resolves anything. So try to put yourself in a situation where you are not unnecessarily spending money, paying extra money in terms of interest to a bank, paying too much for a car, paying too much for vacations that you go on to, knowing for the next year you will be paying off that credit card on which the vacation expenses were charged. So the next tweet is the following. If you want anything that is truly worth having, it's going to get difficult along the way. If that weren't the case, everyone would be rich. There would be no fear of public speaking. Lasting and fulfilling relationships would be easy, and most people would be healthy and in shape. By now, I'm sure you already know that anything that is truly worthwhile takes time, effort, persistence, patience, hard work, and perseverance at times to achieve. Those are the sacrifices that we must make if we want to have anything that we truly want. Anything that is truly worth having. That's why the rich get rich. They're willing to do things that the average person is not willing to do. For you to be in the ideal financial situation, it requires time, hard work, budgeting, patience, a certain amount of discipline, persistence, consistency. Otherwise, you will remain in virtually the same situation, living paycheck to paycheck, never getting ahead financially. And even at retirement, when you can no longer work, you find yourself struggling for the rest of your life. This is no way to live. And the next one is what I believe is the key to financial success. And it's the following. The key to financial success is repetitive investment transactions, investing 20% or above of your gross pay, buying market index funds or exchange traded funds, putting investing on autopilot, investing part of any unexpected income, being patient and being disciplined, and living life along the way. If you can manage to do the following, it is virtually guaranteed that you will succeed financially. And I suggest that you track your net worth. My last video was about net worth, how to track your net worth and why it's important to do so. If you track your net worth over the next year, 5 years, you will be able to see the difference, as you will be in a much, much better financial situation than you are in today. And some of this you may not be able to do immediately, but it's something that you can have at least as a goal. Even if you do not attain it, anything is better than nothing. Repetitive investment transactions is basically putting everything that you're investing on autopilot. Investing 20% or above of gross pay. Yes, I know that's an extremely high percentage of your income to be investing. It doesn't have to be 20% from the very beginning. You can start with 3%, 5%, and as time progresses, try to increase it. And as you continue to invest on a regular basis and increasing it over time, you won't even notice it and you will not even miss the money that's being invested. But try to increase your investment by a percentage point, say every year, and do that for the next years to come. And also, while you're following all of these, don't forget to live life along the way. Yes, you're investing for a better financial future, but at the same time, you want to live in the now. Whatever makes you happy, provided that's being done in moderation and you're not overspending for it, you should definitely still do them. If you can save enough for a couple of vacations every year, you should do it. And keep in mind that particularly if you have children, it'll always be worth it, because the money that you're investing for the future, even if you don't get to use it, your children will benefit. And the very last tweet is the following. The beauty of investing and receiving dividends is not simply receiving the dividend, which is effortlessly obtained money. It's also the fact that through DRIP, which is dividend reinvestment plans, those dividends buy you even more shares of the dividend paying asset. If you don't need the money for another 30 years, mind blowing. And here I'm basically talking about investing in the stock market. And when you invest in stocks or index funds or dividend paying assets, you get paid dividends, but you don't have to use the money. Just for owning the share, you get paid a certain amount, generally quarterly, 4 times a year. But you can set it up so that through something that's called a dividend reinvestment plan, you can reinvest the dividends, basically reinvest the money into the same dividend paying asset, basically into the same stock or into the same index fund, so that it buys you more dividends and it becomes a vicious cycle, but to your advantage, where you have dividends, which is basically money, buying more shares of something that's already paying you dividends, and it gets to a point where it starts to compound so fast that you can't even keep track. So that's it. Hopefully this video was informative to you. If it was, please comment, like, share, and subscribe, because it really does help me grow the channel to continue to make these videos for you guys and continue to spread good financial information to make you become more financially literate. I'll see you next time. Have a good one.